It was supposed to be just another episode. A small documentary crew arrived at the gates of Ravenwood Asylum, an abandoned psychiatric hospital on the outskirts of town, looking for new footage. The crew consisted of Ethan Cole, the ambitious director, confident and skeptical; Maya Torres, the host, brave but secretly nervous; Liam Ward, the cameraman, quiet and observant; Rachel Monroe, the sound technician, easily frightened; Derek Hunt, a local security guard hired as their guide. Ethan, holding his camera, smiled at the thought of capturing something scary. "Tonight, we'll prove the legends are nothing more than ghost stories. Welcome to Ravenwood," Ethan said, setting up his gear and preparing for the night ahead. The massive steel doors creaked as they pushed inside. Dust floated in the air, and the smell of mold hit them instantly. Their footsteps echoed down the eerie hallways of the asylum. The hallways were endless, lined with peeling paint and rusted gurneys. Liam filmed everything, his lens catching glimpses of strange shadows moving in the distance. Rachel whispered, "It feels like this place is watching us." The feeling of being followed by something unseen made the air feel heavier as the group moved deeper into the asylum. They set up static cameras in the hallways, the morgue, and the surgical ward. Then, they began their usual routine, walking the halls, calling out for spirits, waiting for signs to appear. At first, it was nothing but silence. The dark halls were empty. Save for the occasional flicker of the old lights above, nothing out of the ordinary occurred. At 12:43 a.m., things began to change. The sound of metallic banging echoed down a corridor. The crew rushed toward it, finding a heavy door vibrating as though something was trapped inside. Maya's voice trembled. "Someone's in there." The tension was thick as they looked at each other, hesitant to push further into the eerie atmosphere. But when Derek forced the door open, the room was completely empty. The banging stopped instantly, leaving only a chilling silence in its wake. On the camera playback, however, a pale figure could be seen standing inside for just 1 second before vanishing into thin air. After hours of filming, the crew decided to leave. But when they returned to the main entrance, the doors were sealed shut, no way out. Panic set in. They tried breaking windows, kicking doors, even climbing through vents. Nothing worked. They were trapped in the asylum with no way to escape. And worse, their watches and phones stopped working. Time no longer moved forward. It felt like they were stuck in an eternal night. It was always night. There was no sunlight, no change in the surroundings. Just an oppressive darkness surrounding them at every turn. As they argued about what to do, Rachel screamed. Something had grabbed her microphone cable and yanked it down the hallway, pulling her towards the unknown. She chased after it, then vanished around the corner. The others followed, but when they turned the corner, the hallway seemed to stretch on endlessly. Rachel was gone. Her scream echoed in the distance, but it quickly died down. The group stood frozen in disbelief. The building itself began to change. Hallways twisted into new shapes. Doors that once led to rooms now opened into pitch-black voids. Liam, sweating and shaking, muttered, "It's like the asylum doesn't want us to leave. It's alive." They kept moving, trying to find an exit, but every path circled back to the same hallway. The asylum was playing with them. That's when the apparitions came. First, the figure of a patient with bloodshot eyes, whispering their names in the dark. That's when the apparitions came. First, a patient in a torn gown, smashing his head against the wall until blood poured. The sound echoed horribly through the asylum. Next, a nurse with empty black eyes, smiling silently at the end of the corridor. Her smile widened unnaturally as the crew froze in terror, unable to move forward. Then a woman with her jaw grotesquely broken, hanging loose as guttural moans escaped her throat. Her body swayed slowly as though pulled by invisible strings. The crew ran, but the shadows followed. Their footsteps echoed, chased by whispers calling their names, distorted voices filling every hallway with dread. Ethan, Maya, and Liam stumbled into the operating theater. Flickering surgical lights revealed a rusty table, chained and stained, waiting for its next victim. On the wall, written in something dark and dried, were the words, "You are the patients now." The letters seemed to pulse as though alive, mocking them. Suddenly, invisible hands grabbed Liam, dragging him screaming into the dark. His camera hit the floor, still recording, capturing his final terrifying cries. Only Ethan and Maya remained, their faces pale, eyes wide with terror. Yet they pressed forward, desperate for any path that could lead them out. They wandered the endless corridors. Days or weeks may have passed, but it was still night. Hunger, exhaustion, and dread twisted their sanity further. Maya broke down, sobbing. "We're never leaving, Ethan. We're already dead." Her voice echoed, swallowed by the asylum's oppressive silence. Not long after, Maya vanished too. One moment she walked behind Ethan, the next she was gone, leaving only faint laughter echoing from the halls. Now Ethan was alone, his hair disheveled, clothes torn, eyes hollow. He stumbled into the morgue, clutching the last camera with trembling hands. On camera, he whispered, "We came for truth. But the truth is this place never lets anyone leave. It devours us." His voice cracked with despair. Ethan's smile twisted unnaturally as his eyes turned pitch black. "Now, I belong to Ravenwood," he said before dropping the camera onto the cold floor. The camera fell sideways, capturing only fragments. Ethan's distorted shadow, walls shifting, and faint screams echoing in the background. Then static. The tape ended with one chilling phrase, whispered from nowhere. "Welcome to Ravenwood." The asylum had claimed its final victim. Darkness consumed all.